Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Shri Radha Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Shri Radha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Mai Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Mai Jaya Gauranita 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 Harita Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यम् ईश्वरम्। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरो वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। यदस्य चित्तमर्थेषु समेष्व इन्द्रियवृत्तिभिः न विगृह्णाति वैषम्यम् प्रियम् अप्रियम् इत्य उत। यद्यस्य चित्तमर्थेषु समेष्व इन्द्रियवृत्तिभिः न विघ्नति वैषम्यम् प्रियम् अप्रियम् इति उत। यद्यस्य चित्तमर्थेषु समेष्व इन्द्रियवृत्तिभिः न विघ्नन्ति वैषम्यम् प्रियम् अप्रियम् इति उत। यदस्य चित्तमर्थेषु समेष्व इन्द्रियवृत्तिभिः न विघ्नन्ति वैषम्यम् प्रियम् अप्रियम् इति उत। यदस्य चित्तमर्थेषु समेष्व इन्द्रियवृत्तिभिः न विघ्नन्ति वैषम्यम् प्रियम् अप्रियम् इति उत। यदस्य चित्तमर्थेषु समेष्व इन्द्रियवृत्तिभिः न विघ्नन्ति वैषम्यम् प्रियम् अप्रियम् इति उत। यदस्य चित्तमर्थेषु समेष्व इन्द्रियवृत्तिभिः न विघ्नन्ति वैषम्यम् प्रियम् अप्रियम् इति उत। Yada, when asya of the devotee, chittam the mind, artheshu in the sense objects, sameshu same, indriya vrittivi by the activities of the senses, na not, vignahanti does perceive vaishamyam difference, priyam agreeable, apriyam non-agreeable. Iti, thus. Uta, certainly. The exalted devotee's mind become equipoised in sensory activities, and he is transcendental to that which is agreeable and not agreeable. The exalted devotee's mind becomes equipoised in sensory activities, and he is transcendental to that which is agreeable and non-agreeable. The significance of advancement in transcendental knowledge and detachment from the material attraction is exhibited in the personality of highly advanced devotees. For him there is nothing agreeable or disagreeable, because he does not act in any way for his personal sense gratification. Whatever he does, whatever he thinks, is for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Either in the material world or in the spiritual world, he is equipoised in mind, incompletely manifested. He can understand that in the material world there is nothing good, everything is bad due to its being contaminated by the material nature. The materialist's conclusions of good and bad, moral and immoral, etc., are simply mental concoction of sentiment. Actually, there is nothing good in the material world. In the spiritual field, everything is absolutely good. There is no inebriety in the spiritual varieties, because of devotee accepts everything in spiritual vision. He is equipoised. That is a symptom of his being elevated to the transcendental position. He automatically attains detachment, vairagya, then jnana, knowledge, and then actually transcendental knowledge. The conclusion is that advanced devotees dovetail themselves in the transcendental qualities of the Lord, and in that sense he becomes qualitatively one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki Jai. I offer my obeisances onto the lotus feet of all you Vaishnavas. Please pray for me that I am able to have some purification in myself by serving your devotees by giving this Bhagavatam class today. So we're talking about. So today's class is going to be about how we can be equipoised. Yesterday I was having an argument with my mother about this. Not about this, but I mean, it's totally ironic, and it just shows how undeserving I am to give this class, especially on this shloka today, because just yesterday I had an argument with my mom. Anyway, Prabhupada has always been known to give the most qualified service to the most unqualified devotee, and giving his ever qualifying mercy, making sure that the devotees succeed. So taking advantage of that philosophy, I'll just pray to Prabhupada that I'm able to follow half of what this verse actually means. So when it comes to being equipoised, does it mean that you become emotionally numb? Or does it actually mean that, we'll figure it out by the end of this class. So I was reading Ramayana, and in that, I was reading where Ramji was asked to leave, and he was banished to Dandakaranya. And before going, he requests Mother Kekai that he wants to console his mother and his wife. So he goes to Kaushalya Mai's palace, and he tells her that I've been asked to go. On the day of my coronation, I've been asked to go to the forest for 14 years. And the minute Kaushalya Mai was doing austerities the whole night, she was fasting, she was getting the brahmanas to do elaborate yagnas and everything, because she was expecting her son to get coronated the next day. So she was very excited about it. But next day, when Ramji comes to Kaushalya Mai's palace and tells her that, I've been asked to go to the forest, and Bharat, my younger brother Bharat, will be the king. So Kaushalya Mai just faints. Not because she was sad that Bharat will become the king, but because she couldn't bear the separation from Ram. It said that Ram's parents used to love him, and they still do. They love him so much that they can't breathe or they can't survive without seeing Lord Ram for one muhurta. One muhurta is for 3 hours. Every 3 hours, Dashrath Maharaj would have this anxiety. Where is Ram? Where is Ram? He used to call Ramji Rama. There's a very beautiful shloka. It's from Ramayana. Ramayana Bhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sita Pataya Namo Nama Dakshine Lakshmano Yasya Vamacha Janakatmaja Purava Maruti Yasya Tam Vande Raghunandanam. So this shloka actually it talks about different ways in which people used to call Ram. So Dashrath Maharaj would refer to Ram as Rama, which is how we would like to give nicknames to our dear ones. Dashrath Maharaj would call Ram Rama with love, and Rama Bhadraya. Guess who would call Ram as Ramabhadra? Do you know what Bhadra means? Subhadra. What Su means? Su means Bhadra means auspiciousness. Su is referred to as good. Anything good, in Sanskrit they use Su. So Bhadra means auspiciousness. And who is always worried about Bhadra, auspiciousness in the world? The saints. So the sages would call Ram as Ramabhadra. And Ramachandra. Ram's mothers you would call Ramchandra as Ramchandra. You know how many mothers Ram had? 3, but it's more than 3. 353, my thing. Dashrath Maharaj had 3 prominent queens, Kaushalya Devi, Sumitra Maya and Kekai Maya. And so the mothers of Ramji would call Ram as Ramachandra because Ramji was like the moon for them. So it's just like when moon shines the lotus blooms. Similarly, whenever Ramji would come, the heart of the mothers would bloom, just like how the moon, how seeing the moon the lotus blooms. Ramachandra, Vedase. Who would call Vedase? Ramji as Vedase. Vashisht Muni would call Ramji as Vedase. Raghunatha would be referred to Ram by the soldiers of Ayodhya. They would call Raghu was one of the kings in Suryavanshi dynasty, Raghuvansha. So Raghunathai, Nathai. Sita Mai would call him Nath. Sita Patai. So the women Ayodhya, they would identify Ramji as the husband of Sita Devi. So they would have connection with Ramji from Sita Mai's husband. So everyone would, every woman would in Ayodhya would say, "Oh, Sita Patai is coming." Sita Pati. They wouldn't refer the king as Ram. They would call him Sita Pati. Sita Patai Namo Nama. And then this shloka is actually also a pranam mantra for the Ram Darbar we see. Dakshina Lakshmano Yasya Vamacha Janakatmacha. In right, there's Lakshmanji standing to serve Ramji. And Lakshmano Yasya Vamacha Janakatmaja. Left side Sita Maya. The jewel of the heart of Janaka Atmaja. And Purava Maruti Yasya Tam Vande Raghunandanam. So this is a very beautiful pranam mantra for Ramji. So Ramji was going to Kaushalya Mai's house, and he told him that I'll be gone to the forest by midday. And the minute she listens to this, she faints. And Ramji, tries to hold her and get her on the bed and comforts her. And at that time, Lakshmanji is all, we all, or anyone who hasn't even heard about Ramayana must have heard this, that Lakshmanji is that fiery, angry young man. So he's very angry, we've heard. But his anger, he's Sankarshan, he's Praram himself, so his anger is transcendental, not like ours. So he uses this verse. Pratsahito yam ke kayya sadushto yadina pita amrita bhutan nisangam bodhayantar vadyattapi enthused by Kekai, if that evil father of ours becomes supporter of our enemy, he should be indifferently arrested and even killed. So if you see, this is a very bold statement by Lakshmanji. He's saying that if our father has given this order, he's supposed to be killed. Lakshmanji doesn't actually mean that. He's just showing his anger, because Lakshmanji is also Guru Tattva. If there is, if even if we, we don't follow our four regulative principles, if we not serve Krishna nicely, the person who will be more angry than Krishna would be our spiritual master, because he would want us to serve Krishna in an exemplary way. If it's just like a mother, if you trouble her child, her mother will be, the child won't say anything, the mother will come after you, because the mother loves the child. Similarly, if anything happens to our dear ones, we can't tolerate that. We are supposed to get angry. That's a human emotion. And similarly, Lakshmanji doesn't really mean this, but he's saying these bold words just to show his anger towards Dashrath Maharaj's decision and Kekai Mai's promises which she has asked for. So here we see that Srimad Bhagavatam says that we should be equipoised, but then in this way Lakshmanji is showing that we should be angry. What should we do? It's very likely to get confused, and that is why it is very important that we read Shastra under the guidance of the Guru. As 434 Bhagavad Gita also says, Tadvide pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya uptekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. That spiritual knowledge is supposed to be revealed by the spiritual master. Jnaninas tattvadarshina. We should submissively inquire from the spiritual master. So even we see that gopis, we should be equipoised, then why are gopis suffering? Why were gopis suffering when Krishna was leaving Vrindavan? They should have been equipoised. Why would their life air coming out of their bodies when Krishna was leaving for Vrindavan? And Mahaprabhu says, Ramya Kachida Upasana Vrajavadu Varkhena Vaivakalpita. That if devotion is to be performed, it has to be performed just like the Vraja gopis are doing. But we don't see gopis being equipoised. Why is that? And they were very happy when they were dancing with Krishna. One is not supposed to be happy, one is not supposed to be sad. So I was listening to Amoghliya Prabhu's lecture, and he was saying that once Prabhupada had given a lecture that a devotee is equipoised, and he's very dedicated, and he's very gambhir. He's very what is the English word for gambhir? He's very grave, not deep. He's very grave. And devotee is very grave. So after the class, he saw devotee was sitting like this. And Prabhupada didn't say anything. Later in the kirtan also, he was sitting like this, and Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. It was almost confusing whether he's chanting, whether he's actually doing kirtan. So Prabhupada called him. What happened? So he said, Prabhupada, you said you're being grave. So Prabhupada said being grave doesn't mean being emotionally numb. Bhakti is an emotion. If we don't have an emotion, then we're not performing bhakti. A tape box, 24 hours tape box, it chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra 24/7, but it doesn't get delivered because it doesn't have emotions in it. The reason that even when we are chanting, we are supposed to have emotions behind it. We are supposed to call out to Krishna and Srimati Radharani and beg him for service. So emotions are very important. Bhakti doesn't mean we become emotionally numb. Lakshmanji is exhibiting anger, transcendental anger. Gopis are exhibiting suffering, pain when Krishna is leaving. They express immense happiness when they are with Krishna. Radharani's emotions, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to this world to experience Radharani's emotions. and emotions, how are her emotions? When she's thinking about Krishna, tears are coming out of her eyes. That is not being equipoised. When Mahaprabhu cries for Krishna, he jumps in the air and just lands like how cards get scattered everywhere. That's how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just falls on the floor. He's crying. He's madly intoxicated in love. And why is that? We're supposed to be equipoised. If we're supposed to be equipoised, so this is a very nice shlok which comes in Prema Bhakti Chandrika. काम कृष्ण कर्पणे क्रोध भक्त द्वेष जने लोभ साधु संग हरि कथा मोह इष्ट लोभ बिना मोद कृष्ण गुण गण निकुंज करिवे जथा तथा. Lust I will engage in offering the fruits of my work to Lord Krishna. Anger I will direct towards the enemies of the devotees. Greed I will engage by being greedy to hear the topics of Lord Hari in the association of the saintly devotees. Bewilderment will be manifested because I cannot immediately attain my worshipable Lord. Madness will be there when I madly glorify the transcendental attributes of the Lord. Krishna, in this way, I will engage in your service. This is my service. So, when we talk about equipoised, it is about being equipoised towards the material calamities one is experiencing. The Mayavadis say that this world is temporary, that this world is false, but we deny that. We say that how can the Lord's creation be false? Krishna is Sat. He's truth. Then his creation also has to be truth. We see that the Achintya Veda we are qualitatively same, but we are quantitatively different. Then qualitatively we are also Sat. We are also eternal. If we realize that if we go on the soul platform, we all are eternal. So we have to experience and we have to realize that this world is actually not false, it's temporary. Mayavadis, their philosophy is neti, not this. Then what are you? Simple. You are a servant of Lord Krishna. You are an eternal associate of Lord Krishna. That is simple. And that is a very important fact, because being false means complete negation of something. Being temporary means it is there, but it is for small time, for small term, short period of time. So we say that the material world is temporary. So naturally, that makes the suffering and the happiness also temporary. And bhakti is not temporary. It's about something permanent. So when the Shastra says that we have to be equipoised, it says that the material calamities or material happiness, all of them are temporary. Krishna says that it is just like passing of how winter passes, then summer comes, how summer passes, then again winter comes. It's just like that's how the suffering and happiness in the material world comes and goes. So we have to be equipoised about that, but doesn't mean that we become spiritually numb. I was listening to Radheshyam Prabhu's lecture, and his Grace Radheshyam Prabhu was saying that one person came to him and he said that I want to become a brahmachari. And Radheshyam Prabhu said, why do you want to become a brahmachari? So he said, my wife died, but I did not shed a tear for her. I'm so emotionally numb and I'm so emotionally indifferent to circumstances. I think brahmachari life is perfect for me. So Radheshyam Prabhu said that the wife who served you for so many years, and if she passed away and you couldn't shed a tear for her, how can you shed a tear for Krishna? You don't deserve to be in the brahmachari ashram, because brahmachari ashram is all about having feelings. Your heart should be as soft as the butter, so that the butter stealer can steal your heart. So if your heart is hard, if you're hard-hearted, a person who does a lot of austerities, it is said that his heart becomes hard-hearted. That is why we are not worried about austerities. We are worried about Krishna. If tomorrow Krishna says, yesterday was Ekadashi, today it's Dwarshi. If yesterday Krishna comes to you and says, break your Ekadashi, would you do it? Or would you still be, I wanna keep to the spiritual, to the religious principles. I will not break my Ekadashi. What would you do? What would you do, sir? If Krishna says break it. That's that. I was telling you last Friday that that's what happened with Yudhishthira Maharaj. He was so attached to his religious principles that he was asked to lie, and he said that I won't lie. Nar nahi kunja. The Ashwathama was killed, not the elephant, the human. That's why he had to experience the suffering. He did not have to personally experience it, but he just had to go through the hellish experience, just see the hellish experience. So he asked at the end, why did I led such a moralistic life. Why did I have to see how people suffer in the hell? So it was said that when Krishna asked you to lie, you were not lying. You were not ready to lie. So if Krishna comes, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj did that. He one Ekadashi, all the brahmacharis were sitting in the ashram, and he asked them, why aren't you going for preaching? And they said, Maharaj, Ekadashi, break Ekadashi, I'll take the sin, but go out and preach. So if Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj says, break Ekadashi, if Krishna, so what to speak of if Krishna comes and tells you, break the Ekadashi first. So it's about service. It's not about being attached to our moralistic principles. So I was telling you about Radheshyam Prabhu's experience. I really felt that because if we are not having emotions, it doesn't. We don't have a chance to perform bhakti. It's all about emotions. Even Shantaras has emotions. Dasaras has emotions. Tatrak and Patrak, when they are fanning Krishna, they are crying and they are cursing themselves that we want these emotions to go away, because when we are crying, our eyes are clogged and we are not able to see Krishna when we are fanning, and we don't want that. We don't want our emotions, our transcendental ecstasies, which the saints pray for, yearn for. We want them to go away because it's coming as a hindrance in our service. So emotions play a very important role. But at the same time, we have to realize where we should apply our emotions. For temporary things, shedding our tears it's not worth. It's said that tears are a very valuable asset. It has the power to bind Krishna if shed genuinely in love for him. It is. I was listening to a lecture from Narendra Prabhu, and he was saying that if someone comes to your house, if someone is crying on the road, you may go to that person, you may tend to them, or you may not tend to them. But if that person is crying in your house, it is your duty. You will definitely go to him and try to console him and tend to them. So it's like when you cry for Radharani outside, she might listen to you or she might not listen to you. But when you are crying in her house in Vrindavan, it is her primemost duty to tend to you, to take care of you. This temple is not different from Vrindavan. If we are genuinely performing bhakti, and if Prabhupada actually refers us to Radharani, then Radharani can also, console us and help us, because we all are not realizing, but we are all crying in separation of Radha and Krishna. Because whenever there is any material calamity, the first thing we think is, Hey Ram. Even a non-devotee, it's very common to chant. Even an atheist would say, Oh God, Hey Ram. Indians would say Hey Ram. So it's very common for us. It's our natural inclination to call out to the Lord when we are in suffering. In fact, sometimes the Lord gives you suffering so that you call out to the Lord. We see Kunti Maharani is praying in Srimad Bhagavatam that, Oh Krishna, the suffering which I've got in this lifetime, I want in my next lifetime, I want double the suffering. And when Kunti Maharani says suffering, it actually means suffering. Her husband died, her sons were banished, They were given the worst part of the kingdom. They made it the best part of the kingdom. They were banished from there. And how? By tricks. Her daughter-in-law was almost raped. Her sons had to fight their own brothers. It was such an emotional dilemma. And she's saying that in my next lifetime I want double the sufferings. It's not that she's attached to sufferings. It's not that, just like a person is attached to pleasure, they want more and more pleasure. Kunti Maharani has a weird psychology and she's attached to suffering. It is just that whenever she's in a suffering, whenever she's in distress, she gets a chance to call out to the Lord, and that's what she taught Uttara also. Pahi pahi mahayogin deva deva jagatpate na anyam tvat abhayam pashya yatra mrityu parasparam. Uttara, when Ashwathama points, aims a Brahmastra, she's calling out to Lord that Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Deva Deva Jagatpate Na Anyam, except you, there is no one else. Na Anyam Tat Abhayam Pashya Yatra Mrityu Parasparam. Ironically, they were her father-in-laws who just won the world's biggest war, the Mahabharata war. Pandavas were standing right next to her. But she did not go to Arjuna, she did not go to Nakul, Sahadev, Bhishma. She did not go to anyone, Bhim, Yudhishthir. She straight away, how intelligent she was, she straight away went to Krishna. That intelligence was given to her by Kunti Maharani. That na anyam tvadabhayam pashyayatra mrityu parasparam. So, in time of suffering, realizing that it is temporary, but still, because even if it's temporary, if someone is pinching you, even if it's temporary, the injection, you still feel the pain. So we can really take a lesson from this, that when there is a time of suffering, we have to call out Lord Hari, and we have to realize na anyam tadabhyam pashya. Except Krishna, there is no one else. Na anyam tadabhyam pashya yatra mrityu parasparam. So there is suffering, and these guys are reacting. Kunti Maharani, Uttara, she's running for her life. She's running for her son's life. She's in this mood that let me die, but let my son live. Parikshit Maharaj. So it's not that she's emotionally numb. She's running and crying for the Lord. So it doesn't mean that you become emotionally numb. It's just that you have to, how Bhakti is all about spiritualizing all our things. If you have a tendency to eat prasad, if you have a tendency to listen, if you have a desire to listen to good music, you got a lot of good kirtanyas in ISKCON. If you have a desire to have sexual relations, Krishna says, Kamosmi Bhartashva, Balavatachaham, Kamaryoga Vivarjitam, Dharma Viruddha Bhuteshu Kamosmi Bhartashva. I am that sex life which is according to the religious principles. If you have lusty desires, channelize it in the right way. Give birth to Krishna conscious children, make them Krishna conscious, make them devotees. So this is what Prema Bhakti Chandrika did. This was, I think it's Patnarattam Das Thakur, I'm not sure, I'll check. But this is what it says, Kama Krishna Arpane. That lust, I will engage it in Krishna's desire. So we see that these basic human emotions are being used in service of the Lord. They are not being neglected like Mayavadis. Mayavadis say, Neti da. Not this, I'm not this, I don't have these emotions, I'm not a human. Try pinching him, you will feel the pain. You might think, no, it's false, but it's actually hurting him. So practically that's not practical. So yeah, it is temporary, that is true. Because any suffering, even Holocaust, it'll last till a certain limit, and after that there will, just like how seasons pass by, winters have passed, summers are ought to come. So that we realize in this. And even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Vamhina Vityante Purusham Purushashrabha Samadukha Sukham Dhiram Somritatva Kalpata. Arjun, noblest amongst men, that person who is not affected by happiness and distress and remains steady in both becomes eligible for liberation. So Krishna is also saying this point that we have to be equipoised, but we have to be equipoised to the material distress and happiness which comes. We have, but it doesn't mean that you just become spiritually numb. That any emotions you are like, no, I'm not supposed to have emotions. This is Maya. This is Maya. No, it is not Maya. Krishna has emotions. Krishna feels. We worshipping Damodar for a month. Muhu swasa kampatri vekanta kantha sitagreva damodaram bhakti bhatam. And he's having atank. Atank in Hindi we say, what a terrorist is called in Hindi? Atankvadi. So Krishna is having atank in his eyes that Mother Yashoda will bind me, and because he's like a small boy, he doesn't know that Yashoda Mai will bind him for maximum for 15 minutes, half an hour. He's thinking, I'll be bound for my entire life now. I will not be allowed to go and play with my friends. She will just bind me for my entire life. My entire life will be bound to the grinding motor. And in that fear, although he's the Supreme Lord, but again in emotion. Due to the love of Mother Yashoda, he has completely forgotten. It's not that he's acting, acting as a child. He has completely forgotten about him being the Supreme Lord. Him being the Achyuta, him being Janardana, him being the Lord of Vaikuntha. The place where there is no suffering. Vaikuntha. Kuntha means problems, sufferings. Vai means no. So he forgets that he's the Lord of the world, of the universe. He's Jagannath, and he's just thinking that I'm Yashodanandan, and Damodar Janani is running behind me, and if I'm caught now, I'll be bound for my entire life. So better run, and he's running as fast as he can, and Yashoda Maya is trying to catch him with her love. So we see that there are so many emotions in this spiritual world. Radharani, when she's being fanned by her Sakhis and Krishna is not there, she is not feeling happiness. She feels like dying. She feels the separation for Krishna, and that is another human emotion. So neither in happiness nor in distress. Where is the question of being equipoised? None of them are equipoised, but all of them are having immense amount of emotions for the Supreme Lord. If we guys are not experiencing pleasure while chanting, maybe because of committing offenses in our past life or in this life, but the ideal way is that we are supposed to experience when Rupa Goswami says that when I hear Harinam, I wish that I have thousands of ears, and when I chant Harinam, when I chant the name of Krishna, I wish that I have thousands of mouths, so that with thousands of mouths I can sing the holy names of Krishna. That is also an emotion. Why one mouth is not enough for us, for him. For us, even one mouth is more. I'm talking about my experience. When I'm at 2 a.m. and 8 rounds are left, I'm just thinking, just ho jaye chanting jaldi se. I want to get through with this. So, but Rupa Swami says that when I when I do my chanting, I wish thousands of mouths were there, and when I listen to that Harinam, I wish thousands of ears were there. And that shlok, Tunde Tandava. Do you guys know that shloka? I learned that. It's a very nice shlok. So we see that these devotees are having so many emotions. Mahaprabhu's Leela, we see all three altars. Jagannath Ji has lost his form. The same Tribhangi form of Sri Krishna has manifested as Chaukadola of Jagannath. His big eyes, the Kamala have just dilated due to the immense separation from the gopis. Jagannath, I was listening to a story that
once Krishna was in Dwarka and he just
Now he almost fainted, and all of them tried everything, even reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, even reciting the pastimes of gopis. Krishna was not coming back to consciousness. Nothing was happening. And Narad Muni comes there, and he sees that he checks the pulse of Krishna, and he says that nothing will save Krishna. Only taking him to Vrindavan can save him. So take him to Vrindavan. The minute he listens to these words go inside Krishna's ears. Some some visions of consciousness are being were displayed in the hearts of the Mahishis of Dwarka. And then Balram says, okay, we have to take Krishna to Vrindavan now. I'll go. But how can I go? When I last time went, I promised Yashoda Maya, I promised Nand Baba, I promised the Gopsakas and the gopis that I will get Krishna, but I did not get Krishna. How will I can't face them. And so Bhadramai says, I will go. I'm the youngest. I'm like the daughter. I will sit on the lap of Yashodamai. I will sit with Nand Maharaj, and I will try to console them. I will make everyone happy. And Balaram says, even if I go seeing, and even if Krishna goes to Vrindavan, seeing everyone is so much in separation with Krishna, all their Yashodamai, Nand Baba practically went blind, because they used to cry so much for Krishna that it is said that rivers of, in fact, Yamuna would look like a small stream, but rivers of tears, one black, I'm just switching, but I was listening to a lecture of Amrendra Prabhu and Amol Leela Prabhu, and he was saying that he was telling when Uddhava goes to Vrindavan to give the message of Krishna. So he asked someone, where is Vrindavan? And they say that you see these two rivers, one is like a black river and one is like a white river. And Uddhav says, I thought there's just one river in Vrindavan, Yamuna. So he says, oh, that is like a small stream which is flowing, but the black one is Yashodamai's tears mixed with her kajal, and white ones are the tears of Nand Maharaj. So just follow them and you will be, your destination would be Nand Maharaj's house. So that is the amount of emotions people are experiencing. And what point was I building to? So Jagannath, so they are so much in suffering, and Krishna, if he sees them in suffering, he won't feel nice. So Subhadra says, I'll go to Vrindavan, I'll tell everyone that Krishna is coming, be happy, get geared up, get cheered up, Krishna is coming. So I will go. And Balaram is like, I won't let my younger sister go alone, I will come with you. And Subhadra is going on one chariot and Balaram is coming behind him, and they are just dragging Krishna out of his bed, and somehow Krishna just gets up and gets onto the chariot, and they go to Vrindavan. And that is the present day Rath Yatra which we celebrate. So when we are dancing in Rath Yatra, we should be extremely happy, because Krishna, who is feeling so much separation from the gopis that his form becomes like Jagannath, will reunite with gopis, will reunite with the Vrajvasis. So, and we've got imagine the glories of uniting the Lord with his mother. We get that service that we can help Lord meet his mother, meet his Prayasi Radharani back. That is like the highest platform of spiritual emotions. And we see that in Chaitanya Charitamrita when Mahaprabhu would dance. I think in 8 different dancing groups, Mahaprabhu would, and devotees would see Mahaprabhu dancing in 8 different dancing groups simultaneously. And his dancing is not like us, we just lift one leg up, one leg down. Mahaprabhu, when he dances, he really dances. He jumps up in the sky and dances. There is a very nice devotee, associate of Mahaprabhu, Vakreshwar Pandit. He could dance for hours. He wouldn't get tired. and he prayed to Mahaprabhu that I want to dance. The only desire I want is that I should never get tired of dancing. And he would dance for 3 days straight. That is for Krishna Pandit. Dancing is also an emotion. Why would do you dance at someone's funeral? No. You dance when you become happy. So that is also a very important human emotion which we see devotees are experiencing, and they're showing. It's all throughout the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Gopi Geet, we sing Gopi Geet during Kartik Mas. And what are gopis saying? Jayati Tetikam Janmana Vraja Sharad Indira Shatradatri. They are in separation, they are asking trees. Even if a mother's son would get lost in the park, she would definitely not ask the trees, have you seen my son? Have you seen my son? But gopis are so intoxicated and they are so mad about Krishna that they're asking trees, shrubs, sky, earth, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? So that is like madness on another level. If you actually practically analyze that, no, even in normal human day-to-day life, we don't see humans displaying these kind of emotions, which we see spiritual and divine personalities exhibiting. So, Eko Prabhupada says that the exalted devotee's mind becomes equipoised in sensory activities. As I was saying, in material contact, a devotee is equipoised. Whether he gets profit, whether he gets a profit or whether he goes through a loss. Yes, he recognizes that he has gone through a loss, but he also realizes that this is temporary. Even the gain, even the profit which a person would get, would all be left behind, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mrityu Sarva Harasjam, as death personified, I take everything away. So he realized that it is anyway temporary. So he doesn't display madness. Where is money? Where is money? Where is my money? Where is my money? The way gopis ask, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? The devotee is equipoised in that way. But if Krishna is lost, if Krishna, if Mahabhagat is able to see Krishna in his meditation, and if Krishna is lost, you will not see a Mahabhagat being equipoised during that time. You will see the worst form of his suffering and his madness at that time. You will cry like anything for Krishna. So we learn from this verse, and Kapil Dev also says, Kapil Muni also says that it is very important for us to understand that we are supposed to be equipoised in our material dealings, but we are supposed to exhibit and we are supposed to experience dynamics in emotions when it comes to the spiritual plane. Krishna says in Gita, Samashatrau cha mitre cha tatha manapamanayo शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखेषु समसंग विवातिः तुल्य निंदा स्तुति मौनी संतुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेता स्थिरमति भक्तिमान मे प्रियो नर. A person who is equipoised during this is a verse which talks about seasons, that Shitoshna, Sheet means winters and Oshna means summers. Shitoshna Sukha Dukkheshu Sama, that he is equipoised during happiness and he is equipoised during suffering. So in Valmiki Ramayana there comes a prasang, there comes an incident where Vali asks Ram, and you guys are familiar with Ramayana, right? So when Ramji and Sugriv, they get into an alliance that you help me, Vali says that you help me gain my kingdom and wife, and I will help you get your wife. And Ramji and Sugriv have this pact. but Sugriv gets this doubt that how do I believe that this Vanachari can actually kill my brother Sugriv, because Sugriv was so powerful that it is said that in this story, I think it's from Ramcharitmanas, that um, Sugriv was so powerful, Vali was so powerful that Ravan heard of him. Narad Muni told him that, you know, all the people in heaven are actually ridiculing you, because I went to them and I told them, that Ravan is like the demon. You don't want to mess with him. And they were like, this Vali, he can defeat this Vanara. Vanar means it's like a question mark. Are you a human? It's like a question mark. And Vanar is neither a human nor a monkey. It's like somewhere in the middle. So that Vanara can subdue Ravana. Forget about us. So Narad Muni tells just to puff him up. Narad Muni has this habit. He goes to Kansa and says, "Hmm, you should why wait for the eighth child? Kill all eight children." He's pumping Kamsa to go in the wrong direction, so that his sinful activities, the quota of his sinful activities comes to comes to an end soon. Kamsa's death comes closer. So he's pumping Ravan here, and he's saying that I was glorifying you in front of devas, and they were saying that Bali could subdue him, and you really need to set your scores with Bali, because it's about your pride. And Ravan, one thing which he really represents his ahankar, pride. And he goes to Vali was doing his Gayatri. So he goes to Vali's kingdom and says, I want to meet Vali. He says he's doing his Gayatri right now. I don't care, I want to meet him. So he just shoots the doorkeeper away. He goes inside, and from behind he thought that he'll just pounce on Vali. And with his tail, Vali wraps Ravan in his tail, and he goes to three different dhams, Jagannath Puri, Rameshwaram, Dwarka, and does his Gayatri. And for 3 days, Ravan is clammed up, and he's in the coil of Vali's tail. And after 3 days, Vali releases him and says, "Yes, sir, who are you?" And Ravan says, "I'm your servant. I just came here for friendship." Because Ravan realized that someone was so powerful that he's doing Gayatri in 3 directions, while me being coiled up in his tail. Okay, I definitely don't want to mess around with him. And he says, "Oh, you came here for friendship. Okay, be friends. So that was the strength of Vali. And so Sugriv gets this doubt that how can this Vanvasi kill my brother Vali, who's so strong? So he asks Ramji to pass some tests. So he says that there are some trees. There are 12 huge tall trees, and if you are able to prick even one tree with your arrow, I'll believe that you can subdue my brother." So Ramji, with his one bow, penetrates that arrow penetrates all 7 tall trees and goes back into his quiver, and it happens in a span of a millisecond. And then the second test, he asks Ram that there was a huge pile of bones, and these bones were of a Daitya which Bali had killed. He said, if you can just, with your arrow, if you can just get these bones, if you can just move these bones, I can believe that you are qualified enough to subdue my brother. And at this time, Lakshman his eyes were blood red. He was like, if Ramji just give me one moment, and gives me permission to just give him one tight slap. I'll tell him who my brother Ram is. These games, इससे मुश्किल गेम्स भी हम तो अपने गुरुकुल में खेल लेते थे. It means that more complex games we used to play in our gurukul when we were young kids, and he's insulting Ramji by asking Ramji to do such menial things like piercing a tree, moving the bones. So anyway, Ramji, being the humble supreme lord he is, he he just touches the bones with his feet, and it goes flying in the air and 10 yards away. And now when Sugriv sees this, he's jumping, he's shouting, he's cursing. Wali, I'm coming to kill you. So this is one of the symptoms of a weak person. A weak person is extremely happy extremely happy in a favorable condition, and he's extremely sorrowful. He drowns in sorrow when a situation of distress comes. Because before this, Sugriv would just stay in Gandhamadan mountain. It's a mountain. Actually, Wali was cursed. Wali fought this Daitya which I'm talking about, the Daitya which has his bones over there. So this when Wali was fighting this Daitya, there was a sage who was doing his tap who was doing his penances in his ashram, and some spots of blood and flesh landed on his lap, and he was so disgusted by this, and he said that whoever has caused this to happen, if he comes on this mountain again, he will die. So Vali had this curse that he cannot come near the Gandhamadana mountain. So that was like the safe place. Because anywhere Sugriv would go outside Gandhamadana mountain, Vali would chase after him. So Gandhamadana mountain was the only place where Sugriv could actually stay. So that is a symptom of a weak-hearted person, that during in time of distress he drowns himself in extreme sorrow. And in situations of happiness, he's so happy that he doesn't even realize the situation he's in. It comes in Ram Shrimanas that Wali even curses Sugriv even curses Wali in front of Lord Ram, which is not following proper etiquette. I'm coming, you rascal, you scoundrel, I'm coming to kill you. So this is also something we have to realize in times of material anguish, in times of material suffering and pain. We have to know how to be equipoised. In Ramayana, it comes this very interesting analogy comes of being tamed, being untamed, and being tameable, if that's a word in English. Tamed. An example of tamed would be Bharat. That even when the kingdom is being offered at his feet, his mother Kekai did so much to get him to get coronated as the king. Ramji is asking him to get coronated as the king. He's saying, okay, get coronated for 14 years. I'll come after 14 years and I'll take the bhar of the kingdom. Bhara dharate iti bharata. If for us, we were supposed to be the king of a splendorous kingdom as splendorous as Ayodhya is, we would happily volunteer to be the king. But in the situation of Bharat, it is like a bhar, it is like a great burden on Bharat's head that he has to rule the kingdom in absence of Lord Ram. So he gets the Paduka of Lord Ram to rule the kingdom. I was listening to a lecture, a Ramayana lecture by Radheshyam Prabhu, and he was saying that the Paduka of Lord Ram tells Bharat that I am in great distress. I know that you are in great distress, but because of you I am in greater distress than you. So Bharat says, why? So the Paduka says that you were in separation of Ramji. Whatever happened, your mother did all these politics and got Ram banished. You got you got to experience separation from Ram. But I was with Ram. I was getting association of his lotus feet, something which Devi Lakshmi is, aiming for 24/7. The devotees, the saints are aspiring for 24/7. I was getting association of his lotus feet, and because of you, I got separation from the lotus feet of Sri Ram. But then Pavika also says, but because of you, I'm getting association of the greatest devotee of Sri Ram, which is Bharat Maharaj himself. So we see that Bharat, for him, ruling the kingdom is like bhar. Bhara dharati iti, bhara vayati iti Bharata. So it is like a big calamity for him to actually take the charge of the kingdom. But he still does it as the service of as service to Sri Ram. So even when there are situations where the situations are not favorable to you, the service which is not favorable to you, you might want to do this service, but your temple authority has asked you to do this service. So during that, how you are able to manage yourself, how you're able to manage and get a handle of your emotions and still ready to do your service. That shows how exemplary we are in our spiritual life, in our sadhana. That is like in Hindi it says marked. That is the scale you'll measure yourself in. So I was, which story was like what was the point I was going to? So Bharat Maharaj experiences this suffering and this separation from Sri Ram. So this is an example of being tamed. I was talking about tamed, tameable, and untamed. So Bharat Maharaj is a very good example of being tamed. That his senses are so controlled. He's a Jitendriya, and he's so much in love with Sri Ram that he's so tamed in his etiquette. And here comes Ayodhya, Kishkinda, Lanka, and here comes an example of Sugriv, who, if he gets association of pure devotees like Hanuman, he'll become like Hanuman. If he gets association of Vali, he'll become like Vali. So he's tameable. He's like the Tatastha Shakti. He's in the middle, neither there nor here. It all depends on his association. When we are associating with person Bhagavatam, book Bhagavatam, and when we learn that the exalted devotee's mind becomes equipoised in sensory activities, and he staunches into that is which is agreeable and not agreeable, we are in good association. We all are tameable. We all are like Sugriv. If we take association of person Bhagavatam, book Bhagavatam, we learn things. If we take association of the nightclub, of drinks, of booze, we get tamed in a different way. So it all depends on us. And Ramji was giving this analogy to Lakshmanji after his first meeting with Sugriv. So Sugriv is a very interesting character. He's tameable, and in the end, we see that same Sugriva who's so unequipoised, if that's a word in English, about his material emotions. That when he got to know that actually I've got a chance against Vali, I can win over the kingdom and I can get my wife back. He was so happy. And that same Sugriv, when he got training under pure devotees like Hanuman, when he was blessed by Sri Ram, that same Sugriv helped Sri Ram get his wife back. That same Sugriv was empowered to do such an exemplary service to Sri Ram. So tameable and untamed. Third example, Ravan. No matter how much good advice you give, it is said that Ravan was a very staunch devotee of Lord Shiva. So during the fight between when the war was happening, he prayed to Shiva, and he prayed to Shivji. Lord Shiva came and he said that, you want my help in your fight? I will help you in a form of a good advice. Sita ji, give Sita Maya back to Sri Ram. That is my advice. And Ravan thinks, I should, maybe I should. I'm Ravan, the 10-headed king Ravan. I giving Sita back? No, never. Then we prepare to die. and Shiji disappeared. So even if the Lord of his Aradhya is coming and telling him, give Sita Maiya back, give Sita Maiya back, he's not listening. He's not ready to listen to Mandotri's advice. Kumbhakarna tells him that why did you do this, my elder brother? You shouldn't have messed with Sri Ram. He's such a noble king, and even it was not that Dashan and Ravan was blind towards Ram's qualities. It's this story comes in Ramayana that Meghnad, Indrajit, Ravan's son, his wife Sulochana, was such a pativrata, was such a chaste woman. She was so chaste towards her husband that when Meghnad died in the battle,
Sadhyo Vibramshitodaya
through the window of Sulochana's palace.
Tataste Kshina Sukrita
When she saw the hand,
Punarlokamimam Sati
and she said that if I'm chaste to my husband,
Katanti Vivishadeve
what happened during the battlefield, and that hand actually broke and told Lakshmana killed Indrajit. And when she heard this, she was crying like anything. She said,
Tataste Kshina Sukrita
and she goes to Ravan and says,
Punarlokamimam Sati
burn myself in the funeral pyre.
Katanti Vivishadeve
I'll I'll self
Sadhyo Vibramshitodaya.
And Dashrath and
Word to word translation.
Dashan and
Tata
said, okay.
then
Before doing that,
Te
I would want
De
to go to